Best of our business is Carlos Velez. If you want to succeed, you must learn how to connect with people. And while it may seem that some folks are just born with a natural talent of connection, the fact is anyone can learn how to make every communication an opportunity to make that powerful connection with your audience. From the Advanced Communication Series, the Professional Speaker, project number 4, the Professional Seminar, here is Carlos Velez with his speech titled, Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. Carlos.
If there's any problem if I erased it.
No.
Everybody remember the word of the day? I never use it. Is that on?
Yep.
Before I start this speech, I want to dedicate this to you, Cindy. I saw the pictures of you playing ball with your son before he passed. You are the greatest connector that I know. I don't know if you will ever see this speech, but this is for you. We all are here in this club because we have a challenge. We want to communicate with people, right? And I don't know if you're like me, but I have problems communicating with people. You know, I have the blessing to have a great wife, and usually wives complain. My husband never listened to me. I'm so blessed. I never heard my wife saying anything like that. But the thing is, after a while, leading people, you not only want to communicate with them, but because of your calling, because of your passion, you discover there is another level in communication. It is when instead of trying to share with them what you know, you start to value them. You start to connect with them. You see, in communication, the objective is that you will understand me. But when you connect with somebody, my priority is that I want to understand you. It's not a coincidence that Jesus said that we need to love others as we love ourselves. And is that in the intrinsic meaning of the word connection? Is this idea that before I try to tell you what I think you need to know, I want to know you. I want to know who you are. I want to know your strength and your weakness. I want to know how can I add value to your life. Mm-hmm. For that reason today I want to take several moments and several minutes to talk to you about one of the things that are closer to my heart, and is the idea of connecting. And that's why I entitled this presentation, Everyone Communicates, Few Connects. I know Anthony is always thrilled with my outlines, and for that reason I brought a copy for each of you. Because even more than completing this project, my desire is that we can take this club to the next level. We can take this club into a place where you and I not only communicate, but we can connect with people. Because it doesn't matter if we do financial planning. You still in that?
I am.
Hey, praise God for that. Or if we are in a board of a church, or we are trying to make people invite others to our club, it doesn't matter. We will be way more effective if we stop communicating and we start connecting with people. And I want to start telling you what the definition of connectiveness or being connect is. And I wrote here, it is the ability to identify and relate with people. It is the ability to identify and relate with people in such a way that your influence in them increases. It's the ability to identify and relate with people in such a way that your influence in them increases. Every single person in this room this morning is a leader. And as you know, leadership is influence. And if there is something that we should be concerned is how we can influence the people who are following us greatly. We don't want people to just follow us because they need to, but we want people to follow us because they want to. And when you communicate, you achieve with them the idea of leadership, but most of the time it's because they need to. What if we can empower them in such a way? What if, instead of trying to impose our criteria, we help them to achieve what they want to achieve, and they will have no hesitation helping us to achieve what we need to achieve? The only way to accomplish that is through connectivity. Because again, when you communicate, you want to tell them something they need to know. When you connect, you want to know who they are. You want to know where they are at. And how can you walk together with them to together cross the finish line. You see, when you're a leader and you get at the top alone, you're not a leader, you're a hiker. Nobody's following you. Great leaders even allow his followers to cross the line first, because they know you will never be successful in life by yourself. One of the biggest challenges in our daily life is that we're pretty good writing down principles, right? We're awesome. You know how many notes you probably have in your home about the 7th step to be a better father? You're so lame. And the 15 steps to be a great husband. And you have like 3 marriages. And you know what I'm saying? We are great writing down principles. The problem is the applicability of those principles in our daily life. For that reason today, what I'm going to try to do is to create a balance between what we need to understand and what we need to apply. Because it's in the combination of strong foundations and principles and specific ways to apply that we will discover how we can become effective leaders that can connect with people. I want to start first with the principles. There are 5 basic connecting principles. And let me tell you the great thing about connectivity. It's not a gift. It's not a gift. It's a skill. For that reason, you can learn it, you can master it, and you can become the greater connector that the whole world have ever seen. Because it's something you can learn. Let me share with you 5 principles of connection. Number 1, connecting increases your influence. Connecting increases your influence. And there are several things that you and I should have in mind when we work with this principle. Number 1, you and I, we need to get in the habit of talking more about the other person instead of ourselves. You know, we have this traditional mindset that in order to gain authority and respect, we need to prove people how awesome we are. But when we change that, when we flip that coin, and we decided to invest in the life of people, and we talk more about them and their needs and their potential and their giftedness and their skills, you will gain more connectiveness with them. Why? Because you care. Let me tell you the second one. Number 2 is connecting always focuses in others. You see, they are people that as they grow old, they believe that age has something to do with maturity. And nothing can be further than the truth. Maturity and age have nothing to do. But as you mature, you will understand, in the same way that I did, that this life is not about me. That I'm only a bridge. That I'm only an instrument. That I'm only a tool. That it's about the others. And when you and I, in our try to connect with others, understand that our duty is to focus in other people, our life will change. Why? Because people will not see us as the fourth in the Trinity who has something so unique to say. They will see us as equals and an opportunity to grow together in the same direction with the same purpose. Let me tell you principle number 3. Connecting goes beyond mere words. This is a key element. Have you ever been with a person who's telling you something, but their body is telling you something different? Like, sure, I agree with you. Sure. Yeah, I'm so excited to be here with all of you at 7:45 in the morning. Even when the words are trying to communicate something to you, their body is telling you in a very intimate way, you cannot trust me. My words and my walk are not the same. And instead of increasing our influence, what we are creating is distance between our audience and ourselves. You see, when we want to connect with others, we need to understand that people digest 70% of the message through their visual, through their eyes, and not through the ears. For that reason, the way we expose ourselves and the way we communicate those ideas, they need to come from the heart. You see, many of us have made adjustments to our bodies. For example, there are some people who buy a different color of contact lenses to look, they have their eyes in a different color. Some people dyes their hair. And some people, lose weight and cut all that extra tissue they have after they lose weight. I even saw one time this documentary about a young girl in England who went through a whole process of a surgery to be grown for 4 inches in her legs in order to become a airplane. Oh Lord. Flight attendants. Thank you so much. It's amazing what people can do to change their appearance. There is something you cannot change. That is your heart. You see, that's why Jesus looked at your heart. And when we understand that great principle, we can walk confidently. Because what we need to work with is not only our words, but it's the way our heart will express those words. People want to know that they are talking to somebody intelligent. People want to know if you are emotional about the things you believe. And people want to know if you know how to use your words. I have a big issue with that. I have several old people in my church, and I'm very grateful for that. Specifically, I want a lady who is 87 years old. Her name is Jessie. and she have been in our church forever, and even before I arrived here to Charlotte. And you know, as people get a little bit older, they tend to have naps during the service, right? You following that? And a few weeks ago, we were celebrating Pastor's Appreciation Day, and she came to me and she told me, Pastor, I just want to tell you that in all the years you have been here, I have never slept in any of your sermons. And I said, wow, this is amazing. And then she told me, yeah, I'm always trying to figure out, what are you saying? Well, praise God. But it's not only words, it's way more than words. Let me tell you number 4. The 4th principle about how to connect with others is connecting always requires energy. Always require energy. And it is impossible, at least for me, to communicate an idea if I don't believe in that idea. And if I believe in that idea, I will be pumped and excited about it. It will require so much energy that sometimes when people end their presentations, they are exhausted. When you communicate, the only thing you need to move is your mouth. But when you connect, you need to use your whole being. You need to use all your energy. You need to use everything you have and you are in order to not only transmit that message, but absorb what your audience is trying to tell you. I want to share with you a couple of ideas about this principle. Number 1, every time you want to connect, you need to take the initiative and go first. Because if you're in the business of understanding other people, you need to go first and establish, I'm not here for you to listen to me, I'm here to listen to you. Another big idea about this concept of being full of energy and being able to connect is that you need to know the people that you're going to be talking to and know where their heart is. One of the things that I often do when I need to teach or give a conference in a place that is not my church is that I arrive very early, not like today, I arrive very early, and then I start to walk through the rows or the chairs and say hi to the people and ask them questions. Most of them don't know that I'm the speaker, and I just sit with them and we crack jokes and start to listen why they are. If I'm not clear about their expectations, I will never deliver what they came to hear. It requires a lot of energy. Most of you who are here this morning are people of faith, and you attend a church. And for people like me who are pastors, this is a big deal. Because whatever you do before and after a message will directly affect that message. Just imagine for a moment that I preach for 40 minutes in your church, an anointed message, and you're so convicted that you want to move forward in your life. And then after church, you go to have lunch with your family, and you see me, the speaker, in that same restaurant, cracking dirty jokes about women. What do you think is going to happen with that message? You will flush it in the toilet. It doesn't matter how powerful I was as a speaker. It doesn't matter. If you see that I am not walking in the same way that I'm talking, there's no connectiveness and not even communication. Let me tell you, number 5. And number 5 is crucial to me. Connecting is an acquired skill, not a gift. There are people who are gifted and they can connect with others very quickly. But connectiveness is a skill. That means you can connect as good as you want. I have met many ugly women in my life. Have you? I have met a lot of ugly women in my life. And I remember when I saw my wife the first time, I said, oh my gosh, this is it. This is like my mom's stove. It's always hot. This is amazing. She's so awesome. And let me tell you something. I make my way to become connected to her. If I needed to ride, I don't know, with boxing gloves in a motorcycle around a big water pipe, I will do it. Because I wanted to connect with her. And I remember my first date with my wife. I spent more than 3 hours trying to match my shirt and my pants. And I was putting in the mattress in my bed, and I was walking around looking if those stripes will match with my socks and the shoes and the belt. And because I worked so hard, because I want to be spotless. I never wear perfume in my life. I always thought perfume was an invention of French people because they don't want to take a bath. And for that reason, I never wore. And that night, I had like 3 options, and I want to be baptized in a perfume bottle because I want to get ready to connect. When you don't connect with somebody, it's not their fault. It's lack of preparation. For that reason, it is our duty to go over these principles and say, I don't want to communicate. I want to connect, but how do I do that? What are the practices? What are the main things, the tangible things I can do to become a connecting leader? Let me tell you the first one. You always need to find a common ground. Remember the question that I asked you at the beginning of this speech? That we are here because we have communication challenges. What is your biggest fear about communication? This is a question I would love to hear some people answer. What is your biggest fear or challenge with communication?
That I will appear stupid.
That I will appear stupid. Welcome to the club. What else? What is yours? That's a great one, by the way.
Just where to begin. Just how do you start?
How you get started. Because as soon as that brain starts warming up, words will flow, right? But that icebreaker is challenging. Oh, that's perfectly fine. Go ahead.
That I won't be clear.
I won't be clear. That's one of my biggest fears. Because I can talk for hours and not say anything. So that's the truth. We all can. We have enough garbage to do that. What else?
Was your question for communication or connecting? Because those are two separate.
I'm asking about when you communicate as a person, what is your biggest fear or concern as a communicator?
I would say from a relationship part, having time to invest for the bigger communication is what came out to mind.
Having the time to prepare for that event. Do you have something in mind, Tom?
Yeah, actually, just again, understanding your audience. Making
Understanding.
Sure your message fits the
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah. Why am I asking this question? Because we need to work harder, not in what we are going to say, but to understand to whom are we talking to. We need to work harder. I remember when I came to Charlotte, I had my interview as a candidate to be a pastor of this church. Ahead of time, I asked for the people who will be in that meeting, and I spent more than 4 weeks digging on who they were, what they like, what they dislike, because I didn't want to say one single word who will offend anybody, but I wanted to connect with them. Are you telling me that connecting is like manipulating? Oh, no. No. In manipulation, the outcome is that they will do what you want. In connectiveness, when you're a secure leader, in connectiveness, you know that you need them to be able to upgrade your idea. Because let me tell you something, all of us think better than me. All of us think better than me. And it's not that you need me to go there, it's that I need you in order that we can go there. And we need to find common ground if we want to connect with others. Number two, if we want to connect with others, we work hard to keep things simple. I need to tell you that I love speakers and communicators who challenge me intellectually. I love that. Every year in the month of February, I travel to Florida and I go to a pastor's conference with one of my heroes, R.C. Sproul. And every time he speaks, he challenged me intellectually and theologically. And every time I sit down at his feet, I'm a new person because he stretched my head and my heart in new ways to know God in a different way. And I love it. But let me tell you something. I'm weird. I'm abnormal. People who attend a place week after week, day after day, people that you will only shut one time in a presentation to sell them something, they're not looking for a friend who will stretch their heads. They're looking for a very simple idea they can comprehend and act on it. For that reason, it is our duty, if we want to connect, now that we know they are the priority, we need to put it as simple as possible. Do you really want that house? That is the question. How hard are you willing to work to have the house? Do you really want the house? Do you want to have enough for your retirement? I want to help you, but I want you to make a drawing to me of how your retirement you want it to look like. Right? And as soon as they can answer that question, you know exactly what products and the route they need to take to accomplish that. Well, they're expecting the same simplicity from us. Again, sometimes we are such an experts with the 14 steps to be a great father and the 71 steps to be an average husband. And sometimes it requires only 1 point. 1 point. Make it simple. People will digest it. People will connect with you. And people will walk with you. Number 3, about the application of how to connect with others. Create an experience everyone enjoys. Create an experience that everyone enjoys. Take responsibility for your listeners. Communicate in your listeners' words. Not in your words, but in their words. Harness a great beginning. Activate your audience. Have a memorable phrase. Last Sunday I was preaching in my church. I'm a great proponent of a one-sentence statement for a sermon. And I was telling people, everything the king touches, he changes. And all my sermon was about that idea. Everything that the king touches, he changes. And that's why we need to come close to our God. Because everything he touches, we try to change ourselves. We try, to change others. Right? But if we just bring people to the Lord, if we are just instruments of his peace, we don't need to worry about them. We don't even need to worry about ourselves. Because everything the king touches, he changes. How many of you have kids? Can I see your hands? And how many of you take your kids to church when you were little? You remember the first word you asked your kids when you were back in the car? It was not the restaurant they want to go. What did you learn today? Right? You remember that? Mm-hmm. For that reason, if you teach a kid a lesson of 14 points, guess what is going to happen? Daddy, I'm hungry. What happened in Sunday school? I don't remember.